Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bugs Bunny Lost in Time on the Sony PlayStation 1. I am One Wild Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be finishing off this game once and for all. We're going to be tackling the final stage, Train Your Brain, or as the loading screen calls it, the Space Speedway. I have no idea why the loading screen gives this one a different name, but there's no introductory cutscene this time around. We just get chucked right into the action. We're pretty much almost done with the game, ladies and gentlemen. And this stage by here is what a lot of people consider to be their favourite stage in the entire game. Me, not so much, but I still enjoy it, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And basically what this stage amounts to is it's basically a series of puzzles. So you just go through each of the areas, solving all of the puzzles that are presented to you, and moving on. That's basically all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. It is probably the most linear stage in the game, apart from the obvious on-rail stages, but you get the gist, what can I tell ya? But anyway, right from the get-go, we have to do a bit of a Simon Says puzzle, so basically copy everything the Martian does, hits every colour that he hits. And basically this minigame will go on until every single colour on the board has been hit at least once, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And it's honestly very, 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 very easy to do. In fact, I found it easy to do, and I'm usually terrible at Simon-type puzzles, you know, folks. I always have trouble with these sort of things. And you might think this is actually quite challenging just because of the sheer amount of buttons you have to push ultimately, but nah, it's not that hard at all, especially considering the pattern never really changes up. It always stays in the similar pattern. You know, ladies and gentlemen. But once you've once you hit all the switches, basically he's gonna commit suicide. Bye, and we can progress on. You know, folks. But that's a general idea on what this stage is about. It's basically, as the stage is called, you have to train your brain. You just have to practice puzzles, and you have to do a little bit of thinking. I say a little bit of thinking, but not really. The puzzles in the stage aren't really that hard at all. It's just a matter of working, you know, figuring how to do things properly, and that was my own fault. For example, later down the line, there's one puzzle that is literally luck-based, you know, folks. But for the most part, it's just memorization puzzles. Like by here, you push this button, then you need to memorize what that green H, you need to memorize that. And then you need to recreate it by jumping on the platforms. If you jump once, you make a red blotch. If you jump twice, you make a green blotch. If you jump a third time, you'll get rid of the colour entirely. And you just need to remember this in order to fill out exactly what you just saw a few seconds ago. So, you know, it's hardly difficult. But it can give some people a bit of a trouble. What can I tell you? What can I tell you, indeed? But, yeah, it's a really easy one, you know. And I don't mind this being the final stage, because it is a nice, it's a nice relaxing way to go out, you know, folks. It's a nice relaxing way to end the game. But the problem with the stage is, because it just feels so mundane, I suppose, it just comes across as one of those levels where they could have done so much more. You know, ladies and gentlemen, this is just an extremely anticlimactic end to the game. There isn't even a final boss fight, folks. You know, Yosemite Sam that we fought was technically the final boss fight, so this is pretty much a really anticlimactic way to finish off the playthrough. Finish off the game, if you will, and I don't know, it bugs me a little bit. What can I tell ya? What can I tell ya, indeed? But of course, we still need to visit this area at least, you know. I am going for 100%, and even if I weren't going for 100%, you still need at least 120 out of all 124 clocks in order to beat the playthrough, you know, folks. Which, now that I think about it, it's actually quite a silly number, because it doesn't really give you much room for error, does it? It doesn't give you an opportunity to really beat half the game, then decide to go back on your own to finish the other half, like most Collectathon platformers do. I don't know. It's a bit of a nightmare. What can I say? I really don't like reappear and disappear in block puzzles. Like, they're not that bad in this game, but I'm so used to the likes of Mega Man, where they are obnoxious as all hell. So when I see these things, I just sort of have Vietnam flashbacks of, nah, no, not again. I hate these type of puzzles, and you can't stand on any individual one of these for too long, because they will collapse in on themselves and they will fall over. But you might be wondering why I'm avoiding the checkpoint. There is a reason. You don't want to pick up the checkpoint. Trust me, honest ladies and gentlemen, because otherwise it's going to make backtracking and make going back a little bit more challenging. What can I say? Because of basically we do need a backtrack in this level. You know, it isn't too straightforward. We basically need a backtrack in order to go back to one of the electrified fences we saw earlier on. But, yeah, when you're on this platform by here, just be careful of the red floors, because red floors will burn you, and of course, when they flicker onto the next cycle after the red, they will turn into an invisible floor, so you will either get hurt or you will fall through if you're not paying attention, you know, ladies and gentlemen? So I advise being a little bit careful of that, but despite this being really end-gamey levels, you know, it still gives you some pretty simple platforming to clear. It gives you some simple challenges. This is by no means a difficult stage, and honestly, I should say by far, it's no means a difficult game. Like, certain instances of the game, sure, you'll have trouble with, but you know, as a whole, it's still a very, 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 very easy sequence to go through, you know, folks. But anyway, that's why I didn't hit the checkpoint. It's a bit of a shortcut back here so we can grab the golden carrot and go right into the teleporter. I just saved myself about another 5 to 10 minutes by doing that, so you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if you don't trust yourself to get through the platforming properly, then I would recommend grabbing hold of the checkpoint. But if you know what you're doing, don't bother with that checkpoint, because you know there's no need to it. Just jump off the edge of the cliff once you reach the switch, and bada bing, bada boom, you'll be safe. What can I tells ya? But this isn't a very short level. What am I on about? This is a very short level, you know, folks. And there's nothing really new added to the experience outside of things we've already seen in the past. You know, folks, we're not going to see anything really majorly different apart from like the puzzles. The stage level design is pretty much typical to your Dimension X level design we've seen in the past. Lots of abstract platforms floating in the air. And that's about it, really. And even these electrical platforms really make a return. I don't know, what I'm really sort of getting at is it doesn't really feel like an end game level, you know, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't feel like the end of a game, but it is. But anyway, this here is the Alchemy Mind! Whoa! And this is basically Luck the video game. Basically, all you need to do is that you need to guess what color he has behind his little sheet in the background. And how do I recommend doing this? Well, I basically recommend cycling through the colors just cycling through the colors one after another until hopefully you come across what color is, hopefully you'll come across the right color. Alternatively, you could spend about an hour here just sort of, guessing wildly. Of course, when you do guess the colours, you can sort of try and MacGyver your way through this then after realising, oh, so there's a red in this spot, so maybe he has a blue here. Basically, you do need to think about things, but it's not that hard. It's all a matter of, persevering through things and just going in a pattern until you find the right one, you know, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can really say. That's all I can really tells you. Like, it looks like I'm not really making any progress whatsoever right now, because as soon as you find the right color to go onto the space, it will give you a little crown to tell you, okay, you've collected the right color, you know what you're doing, you know, folks. So basically, it's all about persevering. It's a game entirely about perseverance, you know, ladies and gentlemen. You just need to keep at it until you find the right combination. And basically doing what I'm doing so far here, which is basically cycling through as you're, basically, as you can tell, I'm going in a pattern, walking up this, this line, you know, folks. This is probably the best way, without a doubt, to probably find the colors, you know. This is what I consider to be the best way to find the colors out of all this, but can I tell you? It can be quite tricky. What can I say, folks? And of course, when you find one, then you just cycle to another color as well. And eventually, if you know what you're doing, or if you're lucky enough, you will be able to figure this stuff out. You know, ladies and gentlemen. For example, bada bing, bada boom. Done! I succeeded. Yay! I was actually scared. I thought I wasn't going to succeed for a short amount of time then. But that's basically how the minigame works, you know, folks. It's tricky, but, you know, it could have been worse. Bear with now, ladies and gentlemen, we're now on the final stretch of the stage itself, and this is a bit of a racing minigame. If you like racing, then you're going to love this. Basically, this is an entire direct reference to a Bugs Bunny cartoon where he raced against a Martian on the highways of Mars. And basically, it's the same thing's happening here. We're on a highway, and we're racing the Martian. And all we really need to do is hold down the circle button whenever we come up to these poles, and we'll be able to grab onto them and let go at the right time in order to land on the platform. Obviously, I let go at the wrong time. Oh, God. But basically, you just need to jump on boost pads whenever you can, fly past the Martian whenever you can, and it's just a flat-out race, you know, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only real race of this type in the game. Other races are just timed sort of deals. This one is an actual full-blown race, you know, folks. But I don't think there's any rubber band AI going on or anything like that, so when you're playing through this race, if you know what you're doing, no matter what, you can probably find yourself being miles and miles ahead of the Martians, so I guess if you really want to, you can sort of consider it a timed race, I guess. But this is extremely, extremely difficult to get the timing down for letting go of the circle button on those swingy poles of death. So what I recommend is just try. You know, ladies and gentlemen, after a short while, you'll probably get the timing down like I did. This took me about 10 attempts. So just keep at it, and you should be just fine. What can I tell you? The race itself is pretty easy, and there's no major collectibles on the track apart from normal carrots, which at this point in the game you're probably not even needing. But yeah, you win. There's the finish line. Bada bing, bada boom, and victory is ours. Marvin needs to hire new help. Why would you actively walk into an electrical barrier that you can clearly see is on electricity? It's got electricity flowing. Why would you clearly do that? That makes no sense. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. That is every item in the game. That is every collectible. We have now just completed this game through and through. Oh boy. And yeah, I wasn't joking when I said this game had an anticlimactic ending, didn't I? There is just no fanfare whatsoever. It just sort of ends.
Great. Just perfect. You have completed this level. Let me save your position.
Thanks, Moyle.
Bye.
Yeah, goodbye, Moyle.
Yeah, goodbye, Moyle. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're done. We have completed this game, so let's head on back to our time machine, and we will be heading off back to the present day, and finishing this LP off once and for all, and moving on to other projects. What can I tell you? But yeah, you can feel free to end the game whenever you want to. You just have to go to the map screen and go to the present day icon, which is right by here. So let's do this.
Whew, what a relief. Thank goodness it was just a nightmare. Nah, impossible. Couldn't be him.
All right, Merlin, giddy up. Get along now.
That's all, folks. And yeah, that, like I said, that's the game. That is it. That it's so anticlimactic ending. It's such a shame. They could have added like a boss fight or something just to make things seem a little bit more hype. But no, the game just ends. It just ends. It's like, oh, you've done everything. Good job. You're back in the present. It ends. kind of strange now that I think about it. But beside that, this has been Bugs Bunny Lost in Time, an absolutely stunning game. It's absolutely phenomenal playthrough. I love playing this game through and through, and while it does have a couple of issues here and there, and it's far from the best platformer ever made, you know, I still think this is an underappreciated gem that got past a lot of people's got past a lot of people's radar back in the day, you know, folks. So, you know, I wanted to cover this a little bit, try and get more coverage out to this game, because, you know, this is one that not many people bother too much with, from what I can recall, and it's a shame, because it is definitely a classic. What can I tell you? But, yeah, that's basically the playthrough over and done with. So, with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And when we return next time, we will actually be returning back to the Sonic series as well, because I want to finish off a bit more games of that before I move on to my next non-Sonic playthrough. So, yeah, when we return, we will actually be taking a look at Sonic Pinball Party on the Game Boy Advance, I believe, unless I'm getting my schedule mixed up. And then Sonic Heroes, so that's going to be interesting. So thank you all for watching, hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and yeah, I'll catch you all again.